Welcome to the MMAPlay 365 free fantasy fight breakdown. For each card, we'll give away our analysis for one future fight, including how to approach it in your DraftKings and FanDuel contests. You can access our full daily fantasy offering, including picks, tier lists, expert rankings, tournament exposures, and historical optimal lineup analysis for just $5 per event or $10 per month by logging on to www.mmaplay365.com. All right, guys and girls, the fight this week we're going to tackle Tony Ferguson, Nate Diaz. It is happening. Recording this obviously after all of the shenanigans. I couldn't decide what fight to do, wasn't feeling great, and the fight gods dropped this on us on Saturday. So I want to talk about this fight and how we should approach it on DraftKings because it is really interesting. 5 round main event, obviously. Tony Ferguson priced at 7,200. As he was supposed to fight Li Jingliang. Nate Diaz, 6,600 his price for when he was supposed to fight Khamzat Chimaev. They do not reprice these guys. So this is what we have right now. The book I'm looking at, Tony Ferguson is a minus 125 favorite. Nate Diaz plus 105. You can stack this fight in cash games for 13,800. Both guys are massively underpriced. let's Let's do it this way. I'm going to quickly break down the fight, and then we're going to talk about the fantasy implications, which is why you guys should watch this video so we can make money playing on DraftKings and in your fantasy contests. Fight-wise, I lean towards Tony Ferguson. Diaz, for the Chimaev fight, basically admitted he wasn't training super hard. Last fight on his contract. All that stuff. You know he's game. It just has not looked good as of late. Also, I just think leading up to this fight, Ferguson is in better shape, better fight shape. Um, it's hard to totally trust Tony Ferguson because that vicious knockout against Michael Chandler a few months ago, but he probably won the first round against Michael Chandler. Looked better than he's looked in a while. And I just, you know, I've had my doubts about Tony recently, but this is if a fight he's going to win, I think this is it. Two guys who are going to want to stand in a phone booth and trade. I think Tony Ferguson over 5 rounds is going to do a little more to sway the judges. I do think it is an incredibly close fight. Wouldn't be surprised either way, but I'm going to take Tony Ferguson via unanimous decision in a fight with a lot of volume, a lot of strikes, incredibly close. Agree with the line. I actually think the training camps and recent form are going to come into play here, and that's what edges me ever so slightly to Tony Ferguson. So that being said, for fantasy now, in cash games, so this unfamiliar, cash games are head-to-head 50-50 double ups. I would probably even say triple ups. It's a little bit aggressive, but typically cash games, those double up head-to-head 50-50s. Stack this fight. Play both of them. Play Tony Ferguson. Play Nate Diaz. They're blockers in terms of everyone else is going to have them. They'll be 90+% owned. Play them. You're not putting together a good lineup for those contests if you don't have both of these guys in it. Period. End of story. GPPs. Both the guys are going to be massively, massively owned. They get 5 rounds to work. Pick 'em fight. Priced way below the midpoint. I'm going to tell you this. I think you should have at least one of these fighters in every single one of your lineups in GPPs. I don't see how the winner of this fight is not on the optimal lineup at their price. I just don't. It's hard. It's pretty much impossible for me to see. People are going to say, hey, game theory wise, they're so owned. If they don't make the optimal, that's how you're going to win solo. I guess I don't see that often enough to make that play worth it. If you want to get GPP contrarian, I would go the other way. You can stack this fight in GPPs. Obviously not as optimal, but you got plenty of guys up at the top. You got Chimaev, Almeida, Kutalaba's knockout favorite. There are lots of ways that you can stacking this fight. The loser of this fight could end up with 60, 70 points if they just stand and throw in a phone booth for 5 rounds. That's 200-ish strikes, maybe a takedown somewhere. 200 strikes would be, doing quick math. Actually, if they land 200 strikes, that's 80 points on DraftKings and a loss. Possible, probably. That's a lot, but 150 strikes is 60 points. depending on how the rest of the card goes, it's possible. I would say personally, I'm probably going to have stacks in like 5% of my lineups. I would rather stack it than play neither one of these guys. This fight just becomes, because of the prices, it's an interesting situation we have in DraftKings. You need to play one of these guys in every single one of your lineups. In general, by the way, outside of this fight, leave a lot of money on the table this week because you have these two guys. You have Daniel Rodriguez, who's a favorite. Typically, I limit myself to like $600 or less left on the table. I'm taking that rule, you know, out of my builds this week and just whatever I get with my exposures, I get. I'm not so worried about salary. Something crazy salary wise is probably going to happen this week. That's it for the free fantasy fight breakdown. If you guys could hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Appreciate that. Good luck in those contests. Let's get the money.